Hello, my lovelies. Well, I just thought I'd discuss this, which is getting some attention on social media. Concern over mass migration is terrorist ideology, says Prevent. Online guidance says cultural nationalism could be a reason for referring someone for de-radicalisation. Now, for people who don't know, Prevent works with the government and the police. It's basically made up of police officers. And they were originally, because I can remember them when they first came about when I worked for the police, to challenge and intercept cases of extremist Islamic radicalisation of youths. It really focused in on youths. Now, I never felt comfortable with it and never liked it because to me, it presumes that because someone has extremist views, whether it be extremist Islamic views or extremist fundamentalist Christian views or extremist right wing and let's say extremist left wing views, somehow they've been radicalized into that. They've been brainwashed as if there's some kind of, Svengali hypnotize and mesmerize and all these weak-minded little trilbies. No, some people might just believe it because that's what they believe. It's not that they're extremists. So I always thought they were coming at it from the wrong direction. Well, as I say, it initially began to tackle mainly people who were being so-called radicalized by extremist Islamists. Now, what's caused the concern, and quite right to cause concern, is what it says in this article. I'll read this out. We define extreme right-wing terrorism as the active or vocal support of ideologies that advocate discrimination or violence against minority groups. The three most common subcategories of extreme right-wing terrorist ideologies and their narratives are cultural nationalism. Western culture is under threat from mass migration and a lack of integration by certain ethnic and cultural groups. Now that's what's being taught to Prevent and government staff. That's what they're getting taught. That if you have pride in your culture, your nationalism, that means that you very well could be following a terrorist ideology. But yet, if someone is a proud Muslim, which we can't get away from it, can we? With our present Prime Minister who's pushing at us how wonderful Muslims are and, promoting that we should all be happy with the situation as it is. That's not seen now as ever being a case of possible extremism. So you can guarantee it's if you're proud of being British, English, Scottish, Northern Irish. That's what basically they're talking about. Let's make no mistake about it. And if you're concerned of the effect that mass migration is having on this country. Now this is not new. This has come from the rapid analytical sprint on extremism, which the Home Office under Yvette Cooper came out with. Now, Yvette Cooper at the time when it was released and things like this were coming out, don't forget, it wasn't just things like this. It was saying that misogyny was terrorism. That report was saying. And she said she was going to have another look at it before they put it through. But it looks like this cultural nationalism has gone through and they're going to look at that. Now, in this article, it says it's concerning for freedom of speech that this is happening. It's not just freedom of speech, and you can tell that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to come up with a way to silence people by labeling them right-wing extremists and ideologists and terrorists. But I haven't seen any cases of British nationalists or people who are concerned with migration blowing up arenas or murdering and injuring little girls at a dance class. And we have to remember that Prevent failed terribly in the Axel Rudakabana case, the Southport incident. They failed terribly there. And what this seems to be doing, which I said when I first learned of the rapid analytical sprint on extremism, isn't that a terrible name? The name alone tells you it's a load of rubbish. This is think tank nonsense, it is. I said at the time that it looked like what they were trying to do was open the definition of what was terrorism so that it would dilute and take attention away from Islamic extremism. And when our wonderful, amazing, patriotic Prime Minister Keir Starmer stood up shortly after the Southport incident, was saying that we needed to look at what was defined as terrorism. Because remember, Axel Rudakabana was not convicted of terrorism because he never allegedly, I heard different at the time, allegedly never said anything that indicates that he was carrying it out because of any religious or any other ideology. Yet, we found out now he's not only getting sweeties and crisps when he's in prison, he's seeing an imam. Work that one out, it's got out. He's seeing an imam. Work that out. But yet, it wasn't extremism what he did. But when Keir Starmer did that, and you can't trust a word out of Keir Starmer's mouth, he was making it sound like he was just concerned that someone like Alex Rudakabana could be defined as being an extremist. Though it wouldn't make any difference in this case because he's in prison forever. He'll never get out. So it wouldn't have made any difference if he was defined as being a terrorist or not. But the effect is now, if you start labelling people who are concerned about immigration or cultures that have come to this country that seem to be wanting to hold on to the culture and dominate, insist that this country changes to their cultural ways, we have to fit in around them, then you're going to totally dilute the true danger, which we know it is Islamic extremism. You get other forms of extremism. Of course, you can get people who are right-wing, who are extremist, and do incite hate. And you can't have people actually inciting hate. You can't do that. What we saw happening at the Migrant Hotel in Yorkshire was absolutely disgusting. It was, when they tried to set it on fire. We don't need stuff like that. And that can be dealt with appropriately. But to put it as a part of Prevent is only there to dilute it. So that when they come out with they love the stats, government love the stats and the Home Office love the stats, they can say, oh look, it's not that, it's Islamic extremism, which at the moment stands as the great majority of the danger to the UK. But I thought I'd say that, my love, to give my view on it. But this is what's happening. They're trying to dilute it. But thank the press and the media and social platforms for drawing attention to this. And keep your eye on it.